Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Extra Point. We got a lot to talk about. Zach and Callie, what do you guys think?
Lots to talk about.
Yep.
Some kind of breaking news too.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that. I
Yeah.
guess you're talking college ball.
No.
No.
Well, I'm talking college ball, but
I'm
also
talking
high school.
High school
okay.
local
Yep.
stuff.
Well, good. We'll discuss some local stuff. Just to get straight to it, to end out the season, Tullahoma loses Giles County. It's my understanding they're on a 21-game losing streak.
Yep, the streak that's dating back to the playoff loss against Ray County in 2014. I mean, what can you say? It's been a rough 2 years for Tullahoma, but there's plenty of upsides to look at. I mean,
You
got
don't
a young
sound that.
team.
You don't say that with very much enthusiasm. You try that
I've just
again.
been dealing with
like,
this
it's
the last.
really gonna be better.
I've been dealing with this last. Well, especially as you mentioned the breaking news stuff, so I've been reiterating the same stuff over and over and over again for the last day. So excuse me if I'm kind of at my wits' end about this, but yes, there are definitely good things to look at, and I say that with a lot more enthusiasm this time.
All right. Before we talk about that a little more, let's go. Coffee County loses to Siegel. They are 1-9 and playoff.
Oh, bam.
Gotta love that Super 32.
Well,
Yeah.
and we're going to discuss that in a minute. Of course, Coffee County's brutal schedule. They actually put up quite a few points against Siegel, but Siegel outmatched them. I think the one bright spot of the week was Franklin County lost to Shelbyville, but they gave them a pretty good game.
They gave them all they wanted, 42-35, so they lost by a touchdown. It's frustrating because this team gelled so well Friday night. They've come to this point. You really feel like if they'd had maybe 2 more games or another game, they could have possibly been playoff bound themselves. So frustrating. And also some news. I don't know if you want to talk about it right now for Franklin County, but there's also some big news that was announced late last night, early this morning.
Yep.
Well, Coach Smith is no longer with them, so their coach Scott Smith, the head coach, is gone. So they'll be looking for a new head coach.
Did he move on to better pastures?
I
or did
know
they go in a
they
different
basically fired him. So
They asked him to resign.
yeah, which I think was a terrible move on their part. If I can be quite frank about that, I think they were headed in.
Callie, be quite frank.
I know, right? Imagine that. Just a terrible move on their part. Like you said, how much would Tullahoma like to be in their position right now, being 6-14?
6-14 in the last
And
2
they
years.
retained all their coaches.
Yeah, and
right?
Tullahoma retained all their coaches. Obviously, 'cause
Not
it's
to a
big-
lot of. I saw some of the stuff.
There's
on
some mixed
Facebook.
reaction to that. I think a lot of the true Tullahoma people will understand and look at the building blocks that this football team has in place. You look at what the freshman team did. They went 5-3. Their only 2 of those losses came against other teams, JV teams, and the only other loss was a Lions Bowl loss. And then you look at what the JV team going perfect 7-0 and basically just destroying everybody. So there's plenty of good to see in the future for Tullahoma. It's just they got to get it up to speed quick. And this year was going to be used as a building block. It was going to be a learning tool for a lot of these kids, and that's what I reiterated from the beginning.
Played this year.
They did.
So-
They did. So
When you talk about building blocks, and that's Franklin County is almost in the same boat, and they had improved so much. I mean, a lot of the scores weren't indicative to just how well they played during the game, stats wise. They had over 400 yards of offense Friday night. So you see those improvements, and that coaching is a product of that.
Well, and I want to apologize to our Coffee County viewers. We're not really talking about Coffee County, and we'll talk about them in just a second. Their biggest hurdle is that schedule.
Yeah, I think it's all.
That's exactly
it's
what it
both
is.
teams.
It's,
everybody in this area.
Well,
it's the schedule.
And
That's
speaking
all.
More
of
so
moving
Coffee
on,
Yeah, more so Coffee County.
just to shout out to a couple of teams. Fayetteville won the other Friday night. They're 8-2, and they're at home versus Copper Basin in the playoffs. These are our playoff teams. Beach will be at Shelbyville, who is 8-2 because they won. And Coffee County, the 1-9 team is in the playoffs, and they're playing mighty Maryville.
A 10-0 team.
Yeah, a 10-0 team, which should be fitting. Anyway, I wanted to shout out to those teams. What do you think about that Beach and Shelbyville game?
that'll be an interesting one. Beach is kind of an interesting team. Shelbyville has a potent offense, not much of a defense though, and it looks like all season they have been able to find that defense.
They're
So
feisty defense, though.
They are, but I'm probably going to give the edge to Beach. Just something tells me to pick Beach in this one if I had to.
Let me
pick.
ask you guys a question. How ridiculous is it that a team with one win is in the playoffs? And now I'm not picking on Coffee County when I said I was going through looking. There are several 1A and 2A teams that have one-win teams that are in the playoffs. They're ahead of a Huntland who wound up 5-5 on the year.
Yeah.
They didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah,
As far as I can see.
that's just the nature of how they got it set up these days, and I'm not a huge fan of it. Coffee County, to be fair, made it only because of the Super 32, which was automatically ridiculous in my eyes. Because whenever they constructed this Super 32 that Coffee County is in, they automatically said all of these 32 teams will be in the playoffs. So hypothetically, from that standpoint, you could have no wins and make the playoffs, which I just thought was absurd at the time, and I still think it's absurd to this day.
Well, I mean, why don't they just break it down to a top 16 bracket? You know, at least that way you're getting.
It's all about the
5
dollar
and
bill,
5.
though.
Well, yeah, I guess so. Well, and all about the dollar bill, let's talk about college football since
Lord
that's a
have
good
mercy.
segue.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't even want to talk about last week.
I really don't want to. Yeah, I'm just.
Well, I went 3-3 with my picks. You went 3-3. Zach goes 5-1.
Yeah.
2 weeks in a row. We won't even talk about the overall right now.
Yeah, I think we should skip that part.
And we'll just go straight to
Picks.
some picks and then talking about some. Well, let's actually talk about the UT loss real quick. UT's 5-3 and very easily could be actually
7-1.
2-6.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
I mean, no, they could be 2-6. They could have lost to Georgia. They could have lost to Florida.
And to App State.
To begin the season.
Yeah, but they found a way to win. I
So-
mean, that's not uncommon in college football. And we've had a lot of not only have you had a lot of close games this year, but you've also had a lot of upsets. So I don't think you should single out Tennessee as being
Kentucky's
something different.
5-3.
Well, I know that, but you also look at who Tennessee has played.
Well,
Every team except for
why is Jalen Hurd transferring? Anybody know why?
because he wants to be that top guy, and he's not
Well,
getting
he's
that
not
bill right
been
now.
that top guy since.
No.
I mean, he had a pretty good freshman season, but
And
he's
then
not
that's
really
it.
good.
I mean, you could have a whole sports talk just about that incident and what how it's a bigger thing and what's going on in college football right now.
We're going to take because I'm a pretty diehard UT fan. I'm going to ask you.
Okay.
Do some changes need to be made at UT football?
Yes, specifically on the offensive. You got to have this team play a full game. I don't understand why this team has not, at 8 games into this season, why they have not been able to play a full, complete football game. That lies on the coaching staff. I'm sorry.
Oh, I agree with that. I think the offensive coordinator has got to go.
Yeah, but you got to remember this is Butch's
Right.
offense too. At the same token, so DeBoard, or is it DeBoard? Is DeBoard maybe running what the stuff Butch wants to run? So there's also that.
Well,
token
yeah,
of it,
that too. But it also goes to a new strength. Something has to be done with their strength and conditioning. You can't have 18 injuries 5 games into the
No,
season.
I agree. Injuries are a problem.
Yeah, and some of those injuries are going to happen regardless of how fit you are. But a lot of those are because I think there's something bigger up there than we're not seeing. But like I said, you could have a whole talk
All
about
right.
that.
Look into the camera, Butch. You got to do something, man.
He's got to go.
Something's got to
He's
happen.
got to go because there's a new chancellor, there's a new AD coming in, and if they don't like Butch's style of ball, they can get rid of him.
Les Miles is out there.
Yeah, I know. Call us.
Hey, Les.
What's up, Les?
Is the SEC down this year?
No.
I
mean,
think in
besides
some
Alabama.
regards, yes. And aside from Alabama, there
No, I
hasn't been
agree
a
with
true
you.
consistent team aside from
Well,
Alabama.
but I think it ebbs and flows.
I think honestly,
No,
if
I
you're
agree.
looking at the best team or best conference this year in football, I gotta give it to the ACC. I think they're
No.
Louisville, Clemson.
Who's in the
They
top
don't
4?
play anybody.
Two SEC
Okay.
teams are in
Clemson
the top
plays
4 right
Louisville.
now.
Okay,
Clemson plays
and they
Louisville,
battle
Clemson
on
plays
a
Florida State. That's
ridiculous-
it.
They do
So-
battle on a ridiculous schedule.
So you can't.
We're
even
going
go
to
there.
meet after this.
Yeah.
We are. We're gonna take it behind.
They're
the
going
parking
out to
lot.
lunch
Yeah.
after this to scrap it
Settle
out.
this over Mexican.
Well, and since Zach won last week, you can buy lunch.
No, but he would be completely
All right, let's go
happy
to picks
with
because we
that.
got to hurry up. I know
Okay.
our producer's probably already getting mad and fixing to give us the finger. That means wrap it up.
Yeah, that finger.
Florida at Arkansas.
Florida.
Let me have your pen.
I'll go on Arkansas. I know Arkansas struggled against Auburn a couple
Struggled?
weeks
Struggled?
ago. Struggled, but
That's
having
like an understatement.
Okay.
They got their butts beat.
okay.
Like
Florida's-
they stole
has-
something.
Florida hasn't been
I
explosive at
know,
all
but
this
I
year.
need, I'm doing
And I
it
think
for the
returning
picks.
home will
I
do
just
Arkansas.
need no picks.
Okay.
I'm going with
Arkansas.
Arkansas. All right, Georgia at Kentucky. You know, who would have thought?
Ooh.
Kentucky's 5-3.
I'm gonna say Kentucky because they're at Kentucky.
I'm saying Georgia. I think I still have my questions about how good Kentucky is, so I'm going with Georgia.
Yeah.
I have to go with Georgia as well. You know, Kentucky's a better football team, but and if they win this game, I'll be on the Kentucky bandwagon. Let's see. We'll come back to that one. Who would have thought this would have been on our picks? Navy at Notre Dame.
I
still
didn't
can't
think it
figure
at
out
all.
why
I don't
it's
know why
on
you
there.
picked it, but whatever.
Navy just fell out of the top 25. Notre Dame's not even in the top 25. So
Something just tells me to go with Notre Dame at home on this one.
I'll go with Notre Dame at home as well. We'll get along for one game.
I actually agree, but I only agree because Notre Dame's at home.
Yep,
And who
that's
would have
pretty much
thought
it.
that? Let's see. We got another pick. Wisconsin at Northwestern. Northwestern's one of those scrappy teams that can surprise you.
I'll go with Wisconsin.
Yeah, I'm going Wisconsin. Northwestern has a pretty good defense, but not much of an
Yeah.
offense.
I'm going to go with Wisconsin as well. However, I could see that being an upset since
Yeah.
it's at Northwestern. TCU at Baylor. Baylor got upset last week. TCU is one of those explosive teams.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm gonna go with Baylor on that.
I'm going with TCU. I think they need, or I think Baylor's reeling off that Texas loss, which kind of exposed them a little bit. So I'm going TCU in this one.
I'm actually going to go with Baylor on this one. The next two games, probably two of the bigger games of the week. We'll start with Nebraska at Ohio State.
Nebraska. Yeah, I'm like,
She just can't stand Ohio
you
State.
know I ain't picking them.
Yeah, I'm going Ohio State. Nebraska still not a great team in my
Well,
opinion.
that's a pretty. I'll take
I mean,
that
I thought they
loss.
fought the Wisconsin pretty well. I think they're a little better than we gave them credit for to begin with. Wisconsin is a resilient team. They find ways. That's a team that's finding
Yeah.
ways to win.
Yeah.
I unfortunately am going to go Ohio State. Number one, Alabama at LSU.
Alabama.
Roll Tide all the way.
Yeah, they're just.
I mean, they're just the most
they
complete
just are what
team
they
that
are.
I've
I
seen.
Yeah.
don't think so.
Oh, are you gonna call the upset?
No.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's kind of you gotta stay safe.
Yeah, I'm playing it a little
It
bit
just is
safe
what
on
it
this
is.
one. I guess
It's
there's not going to be anybody out-distancing anybody this week. I
Yeah.
think we kind of all stayed together. Let's move on from college football because I think we've gotten off Tennessee's back by now.
that's
All right, Titans win easily over Jaguars last Thursday.
shocker.
They are now 4-4 on the season, only one game back in their division.
That's what I'm saying.
All
This
right.
division from the beginning of the year was
And
set up perfectly
Their
for
next
the Titans.
few games are at San Diego, which isn't an impressive team, at Green Bay, which
Actually, they got
is a
Green
pretty
Bay
good-
here into Nashville.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, home against Green Bay, and then home versus the Colts, right?
No, they got to travel to
Travel to
Indiana.
the Colts. Okay, I got it all back.
Switch it.
My dyslexia kicked in. I could see him winning against San Diego. I could possibly see him winning against Indianapolis. Green Bay would be tough.
Green Bay has been so up and down this season that's actually it depends on which Green Bay team decides it wants to show up here in Nashville.
Hopefully the bad one.
Hopefully the bad one,
Yeah.
the one that showed up against
Well.
Atlanta last week.
So, well, with that being said, can the Titans make the playoffs?
They're set
Why
up
not?
perfectly. They just gotta
Why not?
execute. I mean, you saw
They're
what they did
starting to
against.
win.
Let's have some Tennessee team do something this year.
Yeah,
Whether it be
I mean, like you said, I think I'd see them winning 2 out of these 3 games.
yeah. MTSU, our producers over here giving us the MTSU.
Yeah.
So they're doing quite well.
hey, I've
actually.
picked them several times. You know this.
So,
Boom.
anyway, I guess let's move on out of here and finish up for today. Support your local high school team if they're in the playoffs. Support the Titans if you get a chance on Sunday.
And
if that's
support
your
the
team.
balls always.
And it's always support the balls and always hate Alabama and Florida, right?
True.
Okay.
Preach.
And I guess we like Oklahoma, okay.
No. Well,
No,
that can't
well,
happen.
All right.
No.
But anyways,
We appreciate you guys tuning in with us. Zach, you want to tell them how they can get in touch with you?
Sure, you can reach me on Twitter at Zach Birdsong, no spaces in between.
and it's at news Gal 27.
She's also at she's the new Tullahoma Fine Arts
Yeah,
girl.
that's
isn't
Yeah.
she?
right.
Yeah, so now the
So
Tullahoma
if you
Art
want
Center,
to
actually.
come meet her in
Alright.
person, dude, go there.
Yeah, absolutely. Come see me. Come
Complain
check out the
there.
awesome art.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Hey, and if you want to get in touch with us, you can always email us at tnpro@lcs.net. Any questions, any comments, anything, send them to those guys. All right, have a good day, guys.
Thanks.